subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell.
Hey friends, how are y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, I highly appreciate you. And if you're new, my name's Brandy, and I've been on a health and fitness journey for over 2 years now. But today I have a new style of video for you. I'm going to showcase 5 bowl dinners that are 10 points or under. I guarantee these are some of my top bowl recipes that will be quick and easy to prepare. Most of them probably are under like 30 minutes, like that 20 to 30 minute range. So great weeknight meals. The ingredients can also be changed out to your liking on a lot of them. A lot of them I like to mix it up, and I'll tell you while I'm cooking kind of the tweaks I'll do every now and again. But let's get started with one of my top bowls, and these are in no particular order. Like I said, I have 5 of them, and they're all 10 points or below. And I may come out with more parts of these videos as time goes on, but right now I just have 5. So, and they all have different bases and then different proteins. One of the proteins is shared twice against a bowl, but that's okay. So the first bowl I'm going to showcase is a Greek style bowl, and the protein in that one is grilled chicken on a bed of couscous. And then the second bowl I'll show you is a sausage and pepper bowl, and obviously the protein there is the sausage, and it's on a bed of roasted potatoes and Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts really help to bulk up that meal and not be too potato heavy. And then the third bowl is maybe one of my favorite, and that is a fish bowl. In tonight's video, I'll show you it's going to have mahi as the protein, and that's on a combination of lettuce and couscous. Not a whole bed of couscous like the Greek bowl, but more of a lettuce with couscous, so it's not a straight salad. And then a taco bowl. This one's probably the most versatile that I make. And in the video, it'll be lean ground beef over a bed of sweet potato and cauliflower rice, just a microwave one, but it's super yummy. You gotta try out that combo. And then the 5th one is probably my newest favorite, and it's super low, is this Hawaiian bowl I make. And that one also has grilled chicken, but I am able to eat it on just regular rice because the points are still low. So let's get started with all the bowls, and let me know if you like this style video. If so, we'll try it out again.
So first up is the 7-point Greek bowl, and you can definitely tweak these to keep them under 10 points. I'm using chicken breast for my protein to keep it at 0 points, and then it's going to be seasoned with 21 Salute. I also highly recommend za'atar seasoning. And I'm going to use couscous for that. I prefer Israeli couscous. That's how I buy mine. That little photo up there. And then to that, I'm going to pickle some red onion and make a little slaw out of cucumber and radish, or a salad, whichever you prefer to say. Use some hummus, whichever one you like will work. Always scan it, and tzatziki. Those are the 2 things that will add points, so make sure you scan your brand to get your exact points. And then I am going to bulk it up with broccoli. So with the cucumbers, I'm just using my mandolin and cutting them quite thin, maybe 1/4 of an inch, if that. And these are mini cucumbers. You can definitely use English cucumber or just a regular size cucumber. That doesn't bother me at all either. I'm just going to slice my radish about the same size thickness as my cucumber. And I like more cucumber than radish for whatever reason. And then I'm thinly slicing some red onion, and I'm going to pickle that. And since I am on Weight Watchers, I'm using monk fruit sugar, but you can also use regular sugar. And then any kind of vinegar you had on hand. I used rice wine vinegar. And you just submerge them and then pop it in the microwave for increments of like a minute. And here I'm just tossing my salad. There is a little bit of vinegar on that as well. For couscous, you cook it about 10 minutes in boiling salted water, just like you do pasta, not like rice. And on my seasoned chicken breast, I'm going to grill them, but you could also use rotisserie chicken, or if you don't have a grill, you could just bake them in the oven, or even pan fry them. I just find during summer, and actually we're in Texas, I like to grill my meat a lot, and I like the flavor it gives it. And with chicken, I do typically use a thermometer just to make sure. Now on to the fun part, which is actually building the bowls. And I did 2 portions. Actually, I did 4 portions of couscous. I forgot I made leftovers this night. So I'm just dividing about a fourth in the bowl and a nice big chicken breast since it is 0 points. And then I'll use a lot of my radish and cucumber slaw. Absolutely love that, and it keeps really well as well. And if you don't want to pickle your onions, you can just add the red onions to the slaw. And then I'm weighing out my hummus, and this is just plain hummus, like the pine nut flavor, I believe. And I use 1 serving. Same with the tzatziki sauce. I'm using 1 serving there as well. But if you're not in a weight loss mode, obviously you don't have to weigh it. And here are my pickled onions. I typically like them to get brighter than that, but I was running short on time, so I just called it a day. I could have microwaved them a little more, but I love onions, so I put a lot. And then this time I actually added steamed broccoli on it as well. I have never done that before, and I would not recommend adding the broccoli. I didn't particularly enjoy it. It didn't really go with it, and you didn't really need it either. I would have just done probably more cucumbers or even more of the couscous. So 7 points total. Yummy, yummy. So sausage and peppers is something my husband actually really enjoys. Me, not as much. But for this bowl, I used shaved Brussels sprouts, just roasted. So I have those in the back, seasoned with salt and pepper, with a little bit of spray like olive oil. And then on the right side, I have some chicken andouille sausage. I absolutely love this sausage, and it's like 3 points for a link. And then on the other side, I just have some small potatoes. And then in the middle is bell pepper and onion, and everything just has spray Pam on it. I didn't add oil. Both pans go straight into a 425-degree oven just until the Brussels sprouts, I like to when they get like a little bit of char around the edges. That's how I prefer them. Obviously, you could cook it less if you don't like that. And then you want to make sure your little potatoes are fork tender. And I like when the sausage kind of gets some texture to it. And then the bell peppers are semi-soft, not 100% mush. But obviously you can cook it for up to your preference. I cooked mine, I think, right about 30 minutes. This is one of the easiest bowl meals you can do for sure. For the base, I have a hearty portion of Brussels sprouts, and I highly recommend doing this, using the Brussels sprouts for the bowl because it's delicious. I'm not a huge fan of roasted potatoes, so I really go light on the potatoes, and that's why I really like using the Brussels sprouts to bulk up mine. When I made my husband's, it was more potato heavy. But I am weighing my potatoes so I can be sure I only get 4 points worth. I know the sausage is going to be 3 points, so I'm using 4 points of potatoes. Actually, I think I'll only use 3 points of potatoes. But you can weigh whatever you want. And then the peppers and onions, it doesn't matter. You can really bulk those on if that's your thing. And then I am going to weigh the sausage, and I did put 4 points of the sausage. It's only 3 points per link, but I used a little bit more than just a link. So that's how my bowl comes to 7. But all in all, this is a meal I don't love, but a lot of people do really like it. It's just not my profile I enjoy the most. The next low point bowl uses fish for the protein. And in this particular one, I use these mahi mahi burgers I get from Trader Joe's. You literally just heat them up in a hot skillet. It's easy peasy. And I am using couscous again, but not nearly as much as in the Greek bowl. I'm only using half a serving between 2 bowls. I am pickling some red onions again, so if you didn't know how to do that before this video, you definitely will now. But I absolutely love it. I find it adds a ton of flavor to bowls, and it's super simple. I mostly always use red onion, but obviously you could use white or yellow. But this time I used red wine vinegar, which I do prefer. Last time I used rice wine vinegar, but the red wine vinegar to me just adds a much stronger flavor, which I prefer. And again, I'm adding my sugar substitute, just like a teaspoon or so worth, not very much at all. And pop it in the microwave for a minute and then 30-second intervals. And when it's bright purple, you'll know it's ready. So, like I said, I heated up those patties. They're good to go. But what makes this to me a bowl and not a salad is the amount of lettuce I'm using. I'm just using a little bit of lettuce for a crunch, not necessarily for the base. That's why I also have the couscous. So that differentiates the bowl versus a salad in my mind. I don't know. But there's my fish patty. There's 4 in that box. And if you shop at Trader Joe's, you might as well try them out. And then the 1 serving of couscous is going to be divided over the bowls. So I believe it's only 2 points, but I'll check that and put it up at my end screen. But I enjoyed this. This is the first time I added couscous to this fish bowl and really liked it. And then topping it off with some cucumber. And then you got to have some crunchy radish. But this time I didn't put it in a salad. It's just like the ingredients on their own. And red bell pepper. Typically with this bowl, I use whatever fresh vegetables I just have on hand. And 26 grams of fresh avocado for 1 point. And then again, I'm using tzatziki, but this one's totally different than the other one. I actually much prefer this one from Trader Joe's. It's less like a dip, and I just prefer the consistency. But there's my pickled onions, and they're much brighter this time because I used the red wine vinegar, and that's how I prefer them to look. If you eat Indian food, that's how they look at the Indian food restaurants, and they're delicious. They're even better if you have time to put them in the refrigerator. And the last step, since it is a fish bowl, is a big drizzle of lemon juice. All in all, this bowl is 6 points. This is a lighter bowl, but it is filling and worth a try. The taco bowl is probably my most prepared and most versatile bowl. And this time I used a mix of cauliflower and sweet potato. I absolutely love this one from Green Giant. It just helps to keep the points down as opposed to regular rice or even those like microwave packs of rice. And I am using points for my extra lean ground beef, but of course you could substitute this for lean ground turkey or chicken for 0 points. And the extra points on this bowl actually came from this rice from Trader Joe's. It was our first time trying it, but we absolutely loved it. It's 5 points per serving, but it's worth it if you keep the points down. I do like to bulk up the protein and just volume using 0 point beans of any sort. If you have your own taco seasoning, you can use that. I'm out. So I just used a combination of cumin, cayenne, smoked paprika, chili powder, and a little bit of the chili lime. I also had these peppers from my dad's garden, so I decided to dry roast those. I really just used what I have as far as vegetables for bowls. I made some guacamole, so tomato, red onion, and then I had a little bit of bell pepper, sour cream, and lime for a sour cream and lime crema, really using what I have on hand. I just ground the beef up with a little bit of red onion and a little bit of bell pepper I had. And then in that back pan is just the peppers, just 100% dry to dry toast them and blister. It just gives a good texture and flavor. And once the meat's all cooked, I added a ton of seasoning. See that amount of seasoning? So to the meat mixture, I'm just adding a can of black beans, undrained. I don't mind the juice. I don't know. Some people drain them, some people don't. You do you. You could also use pinto beans, kidney beans. Just make sure that there's 0 points. Some beans out there are have added oils and sugars. So just check them in case they add points to yours. These are black beans and they did not add points. And then I just took my blistered peppers out. I'll show you. See how they're a little charred? And then the corn, I'm just going to heat up in that same pan I used for my peppers so I don't have to do double duty dishes. And it was funny because the corn was frozen to the cheese. So I just put it all in the pan, and when it melted, I took the plastic package of cheese out because obviously you weren't supposed to cook the cheese yet. I just needed it to come apart. But that corn is 10 stars. For my guac, my key ingredient is tons of accent. It gets a really good flavor. And then obviously you just mash that with a fork really well with salt and pepper also. And then I'll stir in the tomato and onion. I use heavy on the vegetables. I just like my guac that way, but obviously you can make your guac however you prefer. We're huge fans of guacamole and avocado in general in this house. We tend to eat a lot, and really and truly, you can have a lot of avocado for quite low points. I think it's like 36 grams for 1 point. So I'm rolling my lime to get my juices flowing, and I'm just going to juice this lime directly into my sour cream just because I only had a little bit of sour cream left. And I'll use both halves, and I salt and pepper that as well. And if you want to, I'm trying to make a lime crema. If you need to thin it out, you can always add a splash of water. But I had a very juicy lime, so I didn't need to do that. But just whisk it together and see what you think to your consistency. My little whisk is from Crate and Barrel, and I absolutely love it. It's like the world's best mini whisk. I use it all the time. Highly recommend. So for the cauliflower and sweet potato rice, you just pop it in the microwave. It takes a few minutes, but then I just divide the bag in half over my husband and mine's bowl. And I highly recommend you try this. I'm not a huge sweet potato fan, but I definitely liked it, especially with a taco bowl. And it's just something different to try. And then you can put your meat and bean mixture for a lot of good protein. Then the corn, which is higher point, you could always use fresh corn as well to keep it down. And then all your other miscellaneous toppings. I like to do it in rows on mine. You'll see like I keep all the meat together, and then I keep all the corn in a row. I really like to do this because I'm not one of the people that like mix the bowl around and combined it. I like eating it in sections kind of so you can make every bite kind of taste a little different. I tried the corn because it was my first time, and I decided, yeah, I like it, so I'll add it to my bowl. I didn't use that much of the corn because it is high points. It's like 5 points per cup, so I made sure I didn't go over that. A little bit of lettuce and the peppers. The peppers were really good, y'all. I'm sorry, I don't know which kind they are. I think they are, oh, what are those fun ones? Oh, shishitos, that's it. And then a good portion of avocado, which is the guacamole. And here's an up close of my 10-point bowl. You could definitely have it less points if you didn't use the Trader Joe's corn or you use ground chicken or ground turkey. This 9-point Hawaiian bowl is definitely a new fave of mine. And to start, you just make a super simple slaw. I actually doubled the slaw to bulk up the meal. It's an 8-ounce bag. And to that, you're just going to add the juice of 1 lime. And as always, I do roll mine first to get it going. You could use less lime if you don't like it quite as sour. I like it, that tartness, not sour tart. And then even doubling the recipe, I still only used 1.5 servings of mayo. I find you just don't need that much mayo with the lime. I did take 4 green onions and I put in the whites in with the slaw. I reserved the greens for garnish at the end of the meal. And then all you do is salt and pepper. I've already salt and peppered. I don't show that often, but just know all my food is salt and peppered, especially really peppered. I'm heavy-handed on the pepper. And then you just mix this really well. If you want to make it easier, do the lime and mayo separate, get that dissolved, and then add the slaw. But I didn't today. I don't know why. So anyways, with the chicken breast, I'm just cleaning it up. I always like to cut out that tendon. I absolutely can't stand the tendon. And then I'm also just butterflying them. This is primarily to make it cook faster. And then also, we're going to have this over 4 portions. So I just like having the It's still chew chicken breast, but it's cut into 4 portions, so it's like I feel like it's saving me money. And then I'm flavoring that with this Cuban seasoning, but of course you can use any seasoning you like. Sliced pineapple, I prefer fresh, but I was keeping it simple during the week. I grill it, and on this recipe, I do think a lot of the good flavor comes from grilling it. So I would not skip that step for sure, especially with like the grilled pineapple. It just makes it so sweet and delicious. Highly, highly recommend. We love grilled pineapple and grilled peaches. Those are two of our favorite fruits to grill. But got to go with the 3-minute Trader Joe's rice. It's 2 cups per bag. You just pop it in the microwave and easy peasy. So a rice is in the bottom of the bowl. This is one of the few bowls I make with rice because all the toppings are less points, so you can afford to use the points with the rice. See how juicy that chicken is? 2 pineapple rings per chicken. So that right there, I believe is 5 or 6 points for the rice. I can't remember. It's 1 cup of jasmine rice. And then added all the slaw, dividing it equally over the 2 bowls. You only have to count for the mayonnaise in the slaw. So it is a great, great low point side dish, even outside of this bowl. But if you're hesitant to try this combo, I highly suggest you don't. The slaw with the pineapple, it just works and is so freaking yummy. It doesn't eat overly sweet, just a little bit. If I had a chili pepper, I would also put it into the slaw because I'm a huge fan of like the sweet and salty combo in food. And the finishing touch is this Sweet Baby Ray's sweet teriyaki. It is so good, and I was super surprised when I first started using it how low in point it is. 2 tablespoons is only 2 points, I believe, so really doable, and it is sweet, but it's not overly sweet. And the last finishing step is just the sprinkle of green onions on the top. Sometimes I do sesame seeds as well, but I do not. So 9 points, 6 points for the rice, 1 point for the mayonnaise, and 2 for the sauce. Yummy, yummy.
Okay, now that you've seen 5 of my top bowls, please let me know in the comments when you try any out and any of them you enjoyed. Also share any bowls you may like or would like to see my interpretation of. I have never been much of a bowl eater until this past year. I've been doing it a lot. I like to keep ingredients on hand that are super quick and easy and you can throw together. So I'm constantly trying to come up with new bowls to make. Okay, that's it. Bye, friends. We've been out of the house for a while, so Neil wants to say bye. Say bye, friends. He's looking at the bowl, wondering why it's empty. It's empty. Mama's just saying there's bowl menus, but there's nothing in the bowl. Is that weird? He's such a little baby. I love you. I love you. Oh. And that's all. Bye.